Welcome back, everybody, to Season 3 of Off the Top. Hi, I am Scalz. I am joined tonight by Cam. What's going on, my man?
Yo, what's going on, man? I'm super excited to be back. And of course, this is the season 3 premiere, man. Hey, we got a lot to talk about, man. And I'm so hyped for season 3. So yeah, man, let's get into it.
We got our man Phil in the comments tonight. What's going on, Phil? How we doing? So, tonight, Smackdown. What'd you think? Was it a good show? Was it bad? Was it just there? It had a weird feel to it tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it just had kind of a weird feel. I think it was just kind of there. But it wasn't by any means it wasn't a bad show. I don't think so. So it was different. It just had, it just kind of just kind of a slower, kind of a weird vibe to it. But it was an okay show.
I feel like it's stuck in that rut waiting for the draft to happen next week. That's what I feel.
Yeah, it's WWE's kind of in a weird kind of a slump right now because we're fresh off of, well, not really fresh off of, but we're coming off of the WrestleMania hype, and because there's always that hype building up to WrestleMania, and there's that excitement after WrestleMania or whatever. So we're coming off of that, and then we got the big pay-per-view or PLE hump to get over, which is Backlash. So yeah, they're kind of stuck in a weird sort of a I don't know if I want to say slump, but just just a weird kind of a void kind of a point right now, and so they create some more hype for something new, something different. So yeah, so I think once we get over Backlash, I think the hype will be there, because then we'll be on the fast track to, I believe. First we have the Saudi show, and after that we have SummerSlam. So once we're on the fast track to SummerSlam, I think some of the hype will return, and we'll have some more excitement. Looking forward to the shows.
Yeah, I feel, not to get a baseball reference in here because baseball season has started. Right now, WWE is batting like 2 for 15, 2 for 20. They just need that one little squeaky hit to get through to change the momentum. And I feel hopefully that will happen with the draft, where we get the new matchups, new rivalries, everything like that. So hopefully that happens sooner than later. But, man, we got to get this going soon, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for the biddy, Sammy. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Sammy.
So let's start off with tonight. What opened the show? Didn't we have...
It was the LWO versus the Judgment Day.
That's right. Judgment Day opened the show, which was a little bit different. Normally, like, you would see Judgment Day, there was no Dom, there was no Rhea tonight. So that was a little different, because Dom has actually been pretty good on TV lately. So I was surprised not to see either of them there.
Exactly. Yeah, it was definitely different. It's almost weird not seeing Dom with them. Dom's kind of like, he's almost, besides Rhea, he's almost like their identity. So it is kind of strange not seeing Dom there.
Yeah, and he's actually grown and gotten so much better. You kind of watch him just to see what's happening. Like, you just want to see what's gonna be next for him.
Exactly. Yeah. He's definitely grown on me. Because I'll be one to tell you firsthand. Like, I was not really a big fan of Dominic, and I'm still really not. I'm still kind of starting to get used to him or whatever. But he is growing on me. I think it was I can't remember what. I think it was last week. I think it was last Friday, I believe. And he went to talk, and like the whole crowd just like booed him out of the building. So that was the moment I realized right there where they've got something special in Dominic, and they definitely need to capitalize on it. I personally want to see him blossom even more as a singles competitor, just away from Judgment Day. I get him with Judgment Day obviously is working because it's helped him become the heel that he is right now. But eventually, I hope we get to see him on his own, because they've got something there, obviously. Because the worst thing that you could have with someone who's either a babyface or who's a heel is, if whatever you're doing in the ring or when your entrance music hits, it should have some kind of importance, and it should have some kind of significance. But if the fans are not into it, if the fans are not reacting to anything that you're doing, that's a very bad sign. So the fact that he's getting that heat that he's earned, obviously, with the whole feud with Rey Mysterio, is is golden, and it's perfect the way they built him up. So yeah, they're doing great work with Dominic right now.
Yeah, it's such a big difference from a year ago to now, and
Right.
they always say as a superstar in WWE, the one thing you do not want is no reaction from the crowd.
Right.
You don't want that silence. You want the boos. You want the cheering. Like if you got silence, that means there's like no saving you. And Dominic's reactions with everything has just been so, like he's just become that mega heel, and it's so weird to say that. Like I never once thought that would have come out of my mouth that Dominic Mysterio is like a mega heel in the WWE right now.
Right. Yeah. Very, very surprising.
And Jamie with these biddies, oh man, he's just like dropping bombs in 10, 45, 20. Thank you so much. We appreciate every little bit.
Jamie coming in clutch. Thank you so much, Jamie.
That was a pretty good match too between the two of them.
Oh yeah. Phenomenal match. Yes. Absolutely.
Like there was a lot of really good wrestling on the show tonight. That was the one thing.
Sure.
That's the one thing I will say that was not out of place. Like this show. Like if you want to watch good wrestling, this is a show to watch because you had this match, you had the IC Championship match, and then you had the no DQ match to end the night. Like just those three alone, they're worth watching in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah. I said I love Santos Escobar. I love his work. I'm so glad that he was finally given an opportunity to be brought up to the main roster, because there was really nothing left for him in NXT. He did pretty much all he could do, probably besides win the world title. But yeah, it was definitely time for him to be called up. I love them. I'm not particularly crazy about and I've been in countless of arguments on TikTok about this with other people, but I'm not one for nostalgia. Like, of course I like, the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, stuff like that, but I just don't like when they leech onto it too much, and they make that a focal point versus focusing on the here and now. So I'm not crazy about how they turned Legado del Fantasma into the LWO. It is cool. It is kind of a nostalgia piece to see them wearing the LWO shirts. I like that. But really and truthfully, it's really just about Rey. They're really just there to enhance Rey Mysterio's storyline with his son Dominic and of course the Judgment Day. So they're kind of just like the supporting cast essentially, which I'm not crazy about, just because, like I said, again, Legado del Fantasma, they had personality, they had style, they had the heel persona mastered as that group. So to turn them into LWO and to have them kind of as like the background band, I'm not crazy about. But either way, though, they're still doing great work. And, who would have thought, Santos and Rey would be such a cohesive unit as a tag team in this match. So great stuff either way.
So while I get what you're saying about how they're being like a second fiddle to Rey, I think it's just going to set up the heel turn at the end of everything. And them going back to be Legado. And then that's going to be the downfall of the LWO. I just think that something's going to happen. And they're making us have all these feel-good moments with it. And then when it happens at the end, oh man, you're going to have a new group to rival the Bloodline, to rival Judgment Day. And it's just going to make them even stronger because they lost momentum. And I feel like this is a way to get that back for them.
Oh, yeah, I definitely like that idea. I didn't even think about that. That didn't even cross my mind. But yeah, I like that. Like I said, I like the whole like faction war they kind of have going on right now with LWO, Judgment Day, and like the Bloodline. So I like that element. It feels like this is probably a horrible comparison, but it's comparable to like WCW days when you had the NWO running wild and you had all these people trying to oppose them and things like that. I like it. I like just the chaotic scene that it creates, because you just don't know what's going to happen, and you're trying to figure out well, why are the Bloodline and Judgment Day teaming up. You're trying to figure out all this stuff, and it just feels like those kind of days. So probably a horrible comparison, but it's just that feel, and I like it. It just creates a new element that we usually don't see WWE do. You might see a couple of factions here and there, but it's very rare that you see, intertwining storylines and a faction war they have going on right now. So yeah, good stuff, man.
Yeah, just just the way that they're intertwining everything throughout the entire show. Like, I feel tonight was very cohesive with how they went from segment to segment. Like, right after this match was over, they went right to the backstage segment, and we got one of them, which I think is actually going to be a really good match in Backlash, of Zelina Vega saying she wants to challenge Rhea Ripley for the title. And, like, I'm excited to see Selena get some spotlight, because she is amazing in the ring and she doesn't get enough time. And I think this is going to be one way to make her and Rhea stand out.
Absolutely, for sure. This will definitely showcase, what Zelina can do. I know she can go in the ring. Haven't seen a whole lot of her in the ring. I think she has a very good character and persona, and she obviously is a great addition to Legado del Fantasma. That's why they added her coming up from the main roster. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what those two can do in the ring. And it's definitely a surprising first opponent for Rhea Ripley in our first championship match. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
And then we had the Karrion Kross promo.
Very intriguing. So you have the rebirth of Shinsuke Nakamura, essentially, because Shinsuke hasn't really done a whole lot. He's kind of been forgotten about, kind of tossed aside in recent memory. So that's how I look at this, the Shinsuke thing before the Shinsuke video package before the Karrion Kross promo. It's basically, like I said, the rebirth of Shinsuke Nakamura. It looks like they are trying to, put back an emphasis on how good Shinsuke Nakamura is, which I'm all for, because Shinsuke Nakamura definitely needs to get back on our television screens and back in the ring, because he's just that good. I remember watching him back when he was in NXT for the first time I had ever heard of Shinsuke Nakamura, and it was his debut against Sami Zayn. That night, I became a huge fan of Shinsuke Nakamura. I've always been a fan of his work. I've always been a fan of his stuff. So to see him get back out there is absolutely what we need. I still want to see Shinsuke Nakamura versus Roman Reigns. That's a match we never got for the championship. I definitely want to see that before Roman Reigns' reign is up.
See, I didn't know Shinsuke before coming up to the main roster. So when he debuted at the main roster and I saw his entrance, I fell in love with him for his entrance. And it's great that they've gone back to that. Especially, like, what was it, last week when he came out? That entrance, he felt special again. He felt significant. And I just hope they don't take that away from him.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, no, 100%. Like I said, they added that emphasis on him again, and that's something that he needs alongside his character. That's one of the things that's made him special is obviously his entrance, not just to mention his phenomenal in-ring work. So yeah, bringing Shinsuke back, we already know, at least we should know, that has got to be a Triple H thing. So Shinsuke was a big part of the Black and Gold brand, so we already know that Triple H is going to do right by Shinsuke Nakamura. But getting into the Karrion Kross promo that you had talked about, once again, I'm a big fan of Karrion Kross. I think the misstep he had was with the feud he had with Rey Mysterio. I saw that promo. I saw that feud going somewhere different. I kind of wish they would have explored it a little bit further. But at the same time, though, Rey Mysterio was in a storyline with Dominic, obviously. So it was kind of limited as to what they could really do. But, you look back on it, and it's like it was kind of pointless because neither one of them came out and was improved coming out of that storyline. Like Ray didn't look like a bigger babyface than he already was before that feud, and then Karrion Kross, who was supposed to look like this monster heel, didn't really come out looking like a monster heel coming out of that feud. So I kind of wish they had portrayed that a little bit better. But I'm a big fan of Karrion Kross. I like his work. So, and I definitely like this promo. I like how he referenced the Rey Mysterio feuds. He referenced Riddick Moss, Madcap Moss.
Nope.
He referenced
He said Riddick.
um, he said Riddick too. Yes, that's one thing I noticed too. He said Riddick Moss, not Madcap Moss. So I guess they're going back to him being Riddick Moss. I hope so. I hope they're going back to him being called Riddick Moss instead of Madcap Moss. But yeah, he referenced some of his old feuds, and now they're setting up a big feud between him and Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm all for it because these two definitely need something to preoccupy their time until bigger opportunities come their way.
Yeah, like Phil mentioned in the chat, he took McIntyre's temper. He took Moss's laughter. He took Ray's patience, and now he's going to go after Nakamura's honor.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it makes him feel important and impactful again.
Right.
So I'm all for it because I loved Karrion Kross when he went down to NXT, when he went on that domination, won everything, and then he was ready to come up to the main roster, and they ruined him. Well, Vince ruined him, not they,
Right.
because Triple H is
Right.
rebuilding him back up to the way that he was.
Right.
Because he should be someone that can contend for the title. And with the way that he was in regards to Roman, he could have been a contender right now for it. But he's just not strong enough built-wise.
Right. Yeah, like I wasn't really a big fan of Karrion Kross originally, like his original run in WWE when he was in NXT. I just didn't really understand him all that much. But then his time away, and then when they brought him back, I started liking him more and more. So, I like the element that they give to him, which is more like just him, just natural. Like he has this natural ability to be able to speak really well when it comes to his promos and be able to, hit on that selling point of a feud. So, he doesn't really necessarily always need. I mean, it looks cool. Like his entrance is badass. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't always need that element of like the smoke and mirrors and the tip talk and all this stuff like that, because he just naturally can be an eerie, scary person when he's just talking naturally. So I like that. It gives him more of a serious feel versus like a comic book kind of villain.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, Karrion Kross is great. He just needs that feud that's going to put him over a little bit more.
Yeah, I think this could be. I mean, it's kind of you don't want Nakamura to get beat down too much, and you don't want Kross to lose the momentum. So they got to find a way to get both of them stronger from this, and I think Triple H can do that if he's given the chance to.
Right.
After this, we had the tag match between Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders. This was an okay match. I'm actually liking Strowman and Ricochet as a team.
Right.
I don't know if that's something that's wrong with me or not, but they work well together.
They do. They absolutely do. I don't know. It's such a weird tag team. It's so strange to me. But I mean, hey, whatever works, right? I just don't feel like we needed to see the Viking Raiders lose again. I don't know. I don't really know what's next with them. I don't really know where they're going with them creatively, but it's just as of right now, it's just not working. So they would definitely be a team probably on the chopping block to go to Raw, just to give them a new space to work with. Because I just don't think they're going to do anything on SmackDown.
Or back to NXT.
Or back to NXT. But you know what? That's probably. I'm glad you said that. That's probably an even better option. Because the tag team division in NXT definitely could use somebody like the Viking Raiders, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm loving what they're doing with their gimmick though. The gimmick that they've had, they've added Sarah back, who's Valhalla now. Love everything they're doing gimmick wise.
They're just
It's
not
just
getting wins.
they're just not getting wins. They're not getting
And
wins.
that's
They're not being put over as the monster heels that they need to be. So that's what's hurting their momentum really, really bad.
that's kind of the same with like LA Knight. Like he's getting so over, but he's not getting victories.
Right.
But that's actually adding to his character, I feel, as opposed to here, it's hurting them.
Right. No, well, because that's the thing. Knowing LA Knight and just knowing the cocky, arrogant heel that he is, he's the kind of person that would incorporate that into his persona and be like, complain to, I don't know, Adam Pearce or whatever. He would be like, oh yeah, I need these. I've been screwed over. I've been cheated in these matches. Stuff like that. Like he has the verbal ability to be able to even put that over his string of losses. Whereas the Viking Raiders, I mean, they haven't really spoken a word since this whole gimmick rebirth at all. So I don't think they have that ability to be able to do that. Unless they just start like attacking people backstage or something like that, out of just sheer frustration or something like that. Make it a little bit interesting. Add a different kind of wrinkle to their.
Well, that's what they did last week to get this match again.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So that was the way to get this back into them, and they looked good. Like that segment made them look strong again.
Right.
But I mean, it was a good match. It just they needed to get the win.
Right. I think so too.
Y'all done sucking Smackdown's dick yet?
Oh, Shadow!
That episode was ass. That episode was trash. I could not get into any bit of that show tonight.
Not at all?
Nothing. I sat here the entire time. I just could not. I felt like going to bed, dude.
Well, we were a little bit busy handling some stuff too, so that probably kept you awake.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that, I'm sure I would have gone. Sorry, continue your conversation. I'll cut in with different things here and there. That was it. Yes, that was it.
Next we had the Women's Tag Team Championship match. What was your thought on this one?
This one had a very weird pacing to it. There's nothing really noteworthy about it that I can think of, but man, the one thing I can say that I'm pretty proud of or glad about is the fact that Triple H is seemingly trying to revive the tag team titles that have clearly been mistreated for far too long. So I'm glad that he's adding an emphasis on that. We're having Raquel and Liv come out and have segments which you normally don't see when the women's tag team champions. He's putting them in different matches. He's getting them more exposure. But it's like they don't want you to forget about the women's tag team division. So I like that because maybe we're going to see, I don't know, more of an emphasis on the women's tag team division, which is a good thing because it tells me that they are trying and that they actually even care about the women's tag team titles. So,
but yeah, my question for you about that, because you're the one rattling us off right now. Is the women's tag team division even worth mentioning at this point? Like, it's pretty trash.
I agree with you on that. I can't. I mean, listen. I'm not at all disagreeing with you on that one. The women's tag team division is trash. There's really not a division because there never really has been. It's just a bunch of singles wrestlers put together. That's not a tag team.
I guess my point to your point was, why should I care about it now when they didn't to begin with? Now they're just shoving it down our throats like, hey, we have these gold. Get it. I don't care.
No, I was kind of getting to that, where it's like, I don't particularly care about it because it's like they never cared about it. So I see what you're saying there. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if they attempt to, I don't know, fix it, if you will, if you can fix it, you probably can't at this point. Probably too late. But if they attempt to fix it or attempt to show that they even care about the women's tag team division, then I'll give it a chance. Is basically what I'm saying. Do I think it'll go anywhere? Probably not. I mean, they haven't cared about that division since its inception. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
Fair point. Fair point.
that's
Nice
tough.
rebuttal. Nice rebuttal.
That's tough to follow with anything because it's really everybody has the same feelings on it. Like, if they don't care, why should we?
Right.
But I mean,
Keep in mind,
good.
before Scalz, I'm not trying to cut anybody off here. This is your guys' thing. I'm just here to give in random inputs. Keep in mind, though, the late 70s, early 80s had women's tag team titles, and they disappeared for a reason. And I think we're now seeing this in the modern era. It just doesn't. I understand women want more titles, and I think they should. But I think introducing the tag titles was a little premature. I think they should have introduced the mid-card title first.
If they force the division any harder, I might have to file a case.
So, I think, in regards to what you were just saying, there are two main reasons as to why it probably went away back then, and then it went away again more recently. And that would be Vince.
Okay, but my point is, I still think it's a little premature on that part.
Right.
You know, that's all. I think they could have easily benefited from it, like a women's intercontinental, or maybe not intercontinental, but something
Which got
similar
turned down.
to what intercontinental would be.
No, I agree. I agree with you on that.
See, you could have called it the Women's North American Championship. You didn't have to take that to NXT and call it the North American Championship.
Right.
You could have given it to the women, and that's their own thing. That's the first of its kind. But no, we took it to NXT. Like,
I think the issue with the women's tag division is they had. Well, I don't know, why did they do the two belts? Like, why couldn't you just have NXT involved with everything all together?
a lot of travel, maybe. It's already hard enough for them because they have to go to house shows and all that fun junk, right? So that could easily be why.
Yeah.
You can't have a house show in Buffalo have the women's tag team championship, and then the house show in New York City not have it. You know what I mean? Like, I see why they did it, but I also think it was a Triple H kind of fuck you to Vince because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to originally do.
Right.
But
that's what I think as to why NXT got it. Thank you for the biddies,
but
J-Day.
I mean, we can sit here all day and argue this, and that's not the point. We're talking about Smackdown, so I apologize for going off track here.
No, you're adding conversation. That's good.
I mean, it was a women's tag match tonight, so it is relevant.
Right.
Hey, is Raquel really a woman? I mean, what?
Wow.
More than Nyla Rose's.
Hey,
Oh Lord.
hey, you leave Prince's wife alone. Prince has gone on record saying he would bang it. Just saying.
All right. On that note, let's move on.
Oh, that's the note we move on. All right.
So after that, we had the Intercontinental Championship, which was Gunther versus Xavier Woods. As somebody mentioned in the chat,
Just before it.
what?
Go ahead. I think just as that match was coming on, I was on the phone with you, and I said, "Oh, good, the title match. We already know what's going to happen."
As somebody in the chat said before, this was Xavier Woods' first chance at a singles championship in the entire career he's been within WWE. I think it was his first chance at the Intercontinental Championship. Sorry, not a singles, because I think he did have the the United States Championship, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. like
Yeah.
a long time ago.
But
And
this match was really good. And
oh, obviously,
as much as we knew what the outcome was going to be, it didn't matter. Like, we just enjoyed it. Gunther is so good. And then Woods is, like, legit great as a singles wrestler. I wish they would have had him as a singles wrestler sooner. And I know it sucks that the only reason he is a singles wrestler is because of two wrestlers having injuries. But, man, like, every time he's been given a chance, he's shined.
absolutely.
Well, when he was in Impact, he did well too.
He did even
Impact.
better in Impact, I think.
What's that?
So I think he did even better in Impact, I think.
Yeah, like but I mean, he was a good superstar back in Impact too. It wasn't just it's not a one and done. It's just underutilized talent.
Right. But yeah, no, same thing with Scalz was saying is, even though we knew the outcome of this match, I don't think that really affected, just the overall match or me particularly caring about the match. I mean, I knew obviously Gunther wasn't going to lose the championship, but it was a great match. Like I said, Gunther just has this ability where he just doesn't put on bad matches ever. So, love seeing Gunther. I'm looking forward to him breaking the record, obviously, because it's just a part of history. We're witnessing something that hasn't been done in like 30-something years now since Honky Tonk Man. So it's just cool to witness.
Is it 30 or is it close to more closer to 40?
I think it's more closer to 40, I believe. If I'm not mistaken.
I believe the Intercontinental title historic reign preludes WrestleMania.
Really?
Let's see.
That I didn't know.
So the longest reign, which would be the Honky Tonk Man, was done in 1987. So 36 years ago.
Wow.
So
I was wrong. But not far
it
off.
was roughly, it was right after WrestleMania 3.
So I was wrong, but not very far.
No, you weren't that far off though, Shadow.
So I did a little bit of research. I looked into it, and November 9th, 2023, Gunther will break that record of this year. So looking forward to that. I still think the person that should beat him is probably Sheamus. Obviously, this is one championship that Sheamus has not held, and I think he deserves that moment. So I think Sheamus should be the guy to dethrone Gunther. But like I said, this was a phenomenal match tonight with Woods. I definitely want to see more singles matches from Woods. Obviously, Woods is a great singles wrestler. So, all in all, props to Gunther and Woods. They went out there and had probably one of the best matches of the night.
Yeah, I mean, it was like just the different aspect that Gunther brought in tonight. Like he just kept going for like the Gojira clutch, like the sleeper. Like it was different. It was a different aspect of what he was known for.
Right.
He's always known for his power. You really don't know him so much for the technical moves that he was doing today, and it just makes him that much more impressive.
Absolutely.
Anything else on this match?
Not that I could think of.
So then we get into the main event segment, where you have the Usos come out first, and they talk about their match next week. Does anyone else feel that this is just setting up for them to get the belts back because of Saudi Arabia?
Yep, I said it already.
I mean, probably, logically, probably.
Unless
I
they
hope
don't,
not.
unless they don't take the belts there. That's the only way that it would happen.
Right. I don't know. I hope not. Really, I do. I mean, it was such a good moment at WrestleMania. And they obviously haven't had the titles that long, so I don't want that moment taken from us so soon. So I hope not, but who knows? Probably so.
Yeah, I really hope not as well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I really hope not, because Sami and KO deserve it. If that happens, that's like just a slap to the face to them, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely is.
I read an article this morning on this whole subject. It seems that fans, myself not included in this statement, I'm sure either of you aren't either. Seems fans have already grown bored of the KO Sami winning the titles. It was all worth the chase, but now they're just bored of them.
It's been 2 weeks. How can they be bored of them?
That doesn't shock me though. That's just fans nowadays.
Right. As
That just goes back to what we were talking about before. Their attention span. They'll want something in the moment, and then when they get it, they're just like, okay, I'm over it now. On to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly why I didn't want Sami to be the guy to beat Roman Reigns, because that's the exact same thing that would happen to Sami. They love Sami for the chase. They love Sami. They're behind him because he's the superhero that got betrayed by his family or whatever. But the second that Sami achieves everything that they want him to achieve, then they get bored of it. It's like, oh, okay, now you're like, what's next type of thing. He's just a flavor of the month. They move on to the next thing in an instant. That's just wrestling fans for you.
Once again, they made Solo feel like a superstar with his entrance.
For sure.
Like, it's just... I really hope that he is the one that takes it from Roman and ends the bloodline. Like, I always said I was always on Braun Breaker doing it, but with the way they built up Solo over the last few months, I feel like he should be the one to do it now.
Solo Sikoa?
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I think a Roman and Solo match would be a good match. Obviously, I think he's the key element to the implosion of the bloodline, anyways. So it's probably Jay's not gonna be the one to beat Roman, I don't think, but it's definitely gonna be a conflict between Roman and Jay before Roman and Solo. Solo, I just can't see, because Solo right now is just like the loyal cyborg that he does whatever Roman says for the time being. Like, there's really hasn't been any sort of, like, not even a hint of a conflict between Solo and Roman. So for me, I still think it'd be Jay, and I know everybody keeps saying, main event Jay this, main event Jay that. It gets tiresome, but it makes sense because, like I said, again, you can go all the way back to 2020, you go all the way back to the Thunderdome, and it started with Jay, so obviously Bloodline starts with Jay, probably going to end with Jay as well. So it just makes sense.
No, I can agree with that. What'd you think of the match, though, between Solo and Riddle?
Oh, man, they went to war. They went to absolute war. Kendo sticks, chairs, tables. They went to war. Every time I see Solo in the ring, he gets better and better every single time. So he's definitely going to be big. I'm curious to see what life will be like for him after the Bloodline. So seeing him on his own again on the main roster, I think will be something different. But I think he's going to go far. I definitely think Triple H is going to do right by him, obviously. So no matter where he goes, especially after this draft that's coming up, whether he stays on SmackDown or he goes to Raw, I think he'll be great. I disagree with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes said he wasn't ready. I think Solo Sikoa is absolutely ready. So hey, who knows? I think we'll see him hold championship gold sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. But he's just gotten so much better ever since he came up to the main roster. I enjoyed him in NXT. I was happy when he came up, and then I was even happier when he went down and took the North American Championship, because I really was hoping that he was bringing it up to the main roster to have the Bloodline have all the gold. And then they stripped it from him because he wasn't from NXT, which I added that little intrigue to it. But he's just going to get better and better. And I like his character traits where he is like a mixture of a bunch of different people.
Right.
Shadow? I mean, it was last week. I think it was last week. I've been this week. I don't fucking all blends together this week. When Solo pulled for Rikishi and went, tell the tribal chief, got this.
That was on was last Friday.
It was a very Rikishi-esque. Well,
any final thoughts on SmackDown?
I know Shadow said it sucks. I thought it was an okay show. Yeah, like I said, it did have like a weird sort of pacing to it, but overall, it wasn't an awful show. I don't think.
I think the pacing has to do with where it was. I mean, Ohio's just Ohio, so.
Yeah, the crowd definitely does add to it.
Oh yeah, the crowd was just dead for most of the show.
So when it is a dead crowd, it does hurt the perception on TV as well.
Right.
Well, we are on the subject of this. Shout out to Irish Need and Mystic. I've seen them on my TV all night, so. Good.
Before we move on to anything else, I have an announcement to make. So, Off the Top has recently become an affiliate partner with WWE. So, if you are looking to purchase any WWE, if you use the link that I have provided now in the chat, it takes you directly to the WWE website. Anything you purchase on there, we will get a percentage back, and it will go back into the into Off the Top to do giveaways, prizes, everything else for the show.
And the more you buy, the more stuff we unlock get out to you guys. So keep that in mind.
What's your thoughts on that, Cam?
Man, sounds good, man. You know,
he's a little stuck. He's stuck right now.
I am speechless. But nah, man, kicking off season 3 right. You know.
So when you use the link, it goes to the regular WWE website where you get all the deals that they currently have on their site as well. So right now they have a promotion where you can get free shipping on any order over $34. So if you use our link, we make a percentage back of it. The more people that use the link, the more stuff we can get from them, and hopefully the bigger the partnership with us goes to them. Maybe eventually we'll have a discount code as well. Don't know how this is going to work, but we're just starting with it, and we'll see what we can do from there.
It's a working process.
Big step for Off the Top, though. Big step.
Not wrestling related, but Scalz, I thought you should know that your New York counterpart scored the fastest 4 goals in playoff history tonight.
The Islanders?
Yes, sir. They scored 4 goals in less than 4 minutes.
To
win the game 5-1.
I didn't even watch their game. Oh, they actually won the game? They came back?
Yeah, I didn't watch the game either. I got a notification on my iPad mid-conversation with you guys. So.
It's pretty interesting. They couldn't even score 5 goals in 3 games, but now they score 5 goals in 4 minutes. 4 goals in 4 minutes.
No, I'm completely lost.
It's okay.
We'll get Cam into some hockey. It's okay.
Good luck
Yeah, I
with
mean,
that.
Good
you're a
luck with
Pittsburgh fan.
that.
There's the Pittsburgh Penguins, man. You're a Pittsburgh fan. Pittsburgh Penguins got a solid team. Except for this year, they sucked. I make fun of my wife for it. So.
Yeah, she is a Pittsburgh Penguins fan as well. So, but all right, what else do we want to discuss tonight, Cam?
So, my partner Scalz did not watch much wrestling this week. So, I'm going to try to transition into something wrestling related, obviously. But the elephant in the room, there's been massive rumors of CM Punk returning, and of course this whole AEW brand split. Now I've read up on this many times this week, and so from what I read, the rumors are slightly true, but slightly not true. It's not really so much a brand split, but AEW is supposedly adding a new show on Saturday nights called AEW Collision, and
They give them 5 shows.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't need 5 shows, but yeah.
Yeah,
It's not really a brand split, but it's like it's a soft split, obviously. So they're gonna have some people on Collision and some people on Dynamite, and Tony Khan apparently has suggested that they just get rid of Rampage altogether, which I think would have been smart. Rampage has just been
I think so too.
pretty much dying, slowed down.
Dead.
But the network obviously opposed him and said no. So yeah, I don't know why they're gonna have so many shows a week. They don't need them. So I don't know. There's a lot going on right now. So.
Well, with this Collision show that they're bringing, they're trying to base it around CM Punk, right? And if that's the case, they shouldn't have called it AEW Collision. They should have called it AEW Saturday Night Pipe Bomb. Or just let people cut promos on each other all night.
That actually would have been genius. I'm not gonna lie. That would have been hilarious.
but I mean, Jamie just said in the chat that they're just trying to appease CM Punk at this point. I don't even know if they are trying to do that, because apparently he still hasn't contacted anybody and apologized. And Tony Khan has told people that you need to stay away from him. Like, it's just still a whole shit show going on.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like...
I don't think he's going to either.
I truly think, and again, I could be completely wrong here, but as of today's date of April, whatever day it is,
21st.
April 21st, 2023, I declare that if CM Punk comes back in any massive capacity, Kenny Omega will sign within WWE in the next 2 years.
Well, his contract's up at the end of this year, so it would be by then.
But that's my declaration right there. Because I think there's some actual real-life heat between them, even though they're saying there isn't. But, I mean, we're now, 6-7 months removed from this situation, and we're still talking about it.
I mean, according to... I'm on Cage Side Seats right now. Meltzer wrote that Punk hasn't reached out to Matt and Nick Jackson to squash their beef. And it's like...
Well, I was freaking lick my dick.
Okay, Shadow.
I'm just saying.
None of
Man,
us like him, but sometimes he actually does have truths.
Am I going to listen to some guy that criticizes everybody that's not, relevant?
That's fair.
The man criticizes everybody for nothing. And yet he's never stepped foot in the ring himself. He started out just like how we are right now, and somehow made his name.
I mean, isn't that what Cornette does though?
Fuck Cornette too. I think guy's a fucking weirdo. He probably eats corn the long way.
And there it is, folks. Shadow's waiting to say it all night, and there it is.
I should have known that was coming.
I'm just saying, if the boot fits, or I guess if it fits in the mouth, I don't know. You figured that out. I'll leave that to your imagination, ladies and gentlemen. Shit, I have things falling everywhere.
I don't know. I think the situation is just weird. If they're really just creating another show just because of Punk or because of the backstage drama, I think it's just childish, honestly. These are grown men we're talking about. This isn't elementary school.
let me ask you, Cam. If they do develop a show solely based around CM Punk, that promo Triple H cut 8 years ago, or 10 years ago, I guess, almost, it really comes to fruition that Triple H was right about CM Punk. Whether it was a scripted promo or not.
Yeah, I think that was not scripted at all, and I think he spoke from the heart, and he's been pretty accurate with everything he said.
You know, you have a guy like CM Punk who says, don't go into business for yourself, and did exactly that.
Is that all that Punk has done since he's been there?
It's a shame because, you know, I used to be a Punk fan, and I don't think I'd give him the shirt off my back if he was on fire kind of situation now.
Wow.
Not wishing, you know, the inevitable death upon him or nothing like that. But if he was burning, I'd probably piss on him. Probably that's as much as I'd do. I'm just being real.
Understandable. I don't know. I'm still a Punk fan. I'm not gonna sit here and defend everything he's done or said, but I don't know. I think with the same mindset, you know, he's real too. Like he like I said, he just doesn't have that filter like I feel like most wrestlers have, where it's like, you know, you don't do this, you don't say certain things to certain people. Punk just doesn't care. Like if you rub Punk the wrong way, like he's just naturally going to come out and just
bad phrasing, my guy. Bad phrasing.
Of course.
If you rub Punk the wrong way, he's just gonna come out. All right.
You know what I mean.
Oh, you hear the little laughter back there?
Christ.
Oh man.
Come on, Cam. I gotta, you know, rib you too here. But no, I think you're right. And I mean, realistically, I guess we're just used to conformity, if you will, within wrestling, and he's outside the bubble of that, and he's not quite about it.
Right.
But it's still a shitty move to go on national TV and absolutely rip apart your bosses for nothing when they sign your check. Like,
right.
You might as well just shit on Tony Khan's chest right then and there.
I mean, any other job you do that, you won't have a job anymore. So.
Right.
Well, that's the thing,
Tony
right?
Khan might put the title on you if that happens.
He'll snort some cocaine off your ass first, but I don't know, man. It's a tough situation. Like, obviously, you want CM Punk back because he's a competitor, but at the same time, as a human being, he really is shitty. Like, I have not really seen. Like, I'm in the world of memorabilia, and there's people that I speak to, and they try to get Punk's autograph, and they're not like chasing him down anywhere. They just see him out and about, and he's just a complete piece of shit about it. You know, that to me, like if you're being chased around like, you know, Rhea and Ray and all that, I get it. But if you just run into somebody and somebody's like just happenstance has like, you know, hey man, can you sign this? And you're just a piece of shit. It really is a thing. And CM Punk's social media presence before even coming back to wrestling was annoying as fuck. You know, picking on poor NHL playoff mascots, NHL team mascots, and shit like that. So, like, the man's a clown.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Holy shit, the room got quiet, guys. Come on now.
How do you top that? Shadow just going
What am I
on.
talking to 3 Joe Bidens over here sleeping? Jesus.
Whoa. Relax over there, Shadow.
Well, you might as well be Sleepy Joe at this point. You guys, nobody responded.
Your hair smells good.
All right.
Wow. All right.
Call me a Joe Biden. I mean,
Anyways, that might have been A little left-handed there.
Right.
Anyways, so Cam, that's a very. What's your stance on it all, though? Realistically, like, take out your biasness towards being a punk band.
Ah, man, I don't know. It's like I said, it's a tough situation. What you just talked about with the whole fan thing, like I didn't know that element of it. It doesn't really shock me knowing CM Punk, knowing how he can be. But for me, it's like I don't necessarily want to say AEW needs CM Punk, but it's just when they had him, it was like they had a purpose, they had direction, especially in their storyline telling aspect. So for me, it's like I feel like they need CM Punk just for that star power. It's weird because I don't know what kind of reaction, what kind of reception he would get coming back. Like I don't know if he's going to be booed, I don't know if he's going to be cheered, I don't know if it's going to be a little bit of both. But it's really tough.
Look,
I would
what
say
you just said there. Sorry, go ahead, finish.
I would say if they do bring, well, obviously, when CM Punk does come back, I feel like it's probably a short-term thing. I don't see him being there for very long. So it's probably like a 6-8 month kind of thing, and then CM Punk can just go right off into the sunset, retire, and just never be seen ever again. But I think for the time being, especially going into the Wembley show that they got coming up, it's pretty much all hands on deck. They need anybody and everybody that they could possibly get, especially for that show. So
Yeah, that's really what it's going to boil down to.
mm-hmm.
Is how are they going to get him onto that show? So this way they can use his star power to make to draw.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you could bring in Goldberg to face MJF, too.
Oh, God. Please stop.
I mean, I have a quote tweet here from earlier today. It's been deleted, of course, because, MJF's a fucking dickhead. But, Bloodline. MJF tweeted at, I don't know, it was 8 minutes ago, whenever I saved this, I'd beat the living shit out of that roided up, and you can go where he's going with that.
Yep, I did see that one.
So
He said that about Goldberg?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. He then since deleted that tweet.
And the last part of that was a 3-letter word.
Yeah. Use your own anti-Semitic terms, if you will. Yeah, it's. I don't know what's going on there. I don't care what's going on there. Goldberg's throwing a hissy fit now, worse than Bret Hart, because he didn't get his retirement match through WWE. So
they don't owe him a. I got into an argument.
According to him, they do.
I got into a massive argument with Mike about this in a TikTok live, but they don't owe him anything. They don't owe him a retirement match. That's dumb.
No, they surely don't.
They don't owe him anything. They've paid you handsomely. That should be enough. They don't owe you anything.
Right. They kept you around 7 years longer than anybody wanted to see your ass.
Right.
So, I mean,
and then they had the
cool.
nerve to bring you back. They had the nerve to bring you back after your prime. Like, what more do you want?
Right, they kept him going for an additional 10 years after he should have stopped.
Right.
They let you have your moment for your kid, and then you just kind of stuck around like nobody's, like 3-day-old tuna on the counter. Nobody cared about you after that. I don't know. I truly hope, for the sake of Tony Khan, he's not that stupid and brings in Goldberg. But it wouldn't surprise me if we end up seeing Goldberg in AEW.
The way he was talking was scaring me, because he was just like, "Oh yeah, the hottest free agent." I'm like, since when has Goldberg been the hottest? Yeah, in his prime maybe.
No, I don't even think then.
Goldberg is not the hottest free agent.
They already
Yeah.
have a Goldberg in AEW though. She's called Jay Cargo.
Yeah, but I mean, you can bring him back to manage her. I mean, I'd be alright with that.
That'd be weird.
I mean, my major problem with Goldberg is simple. He almost killed Taker on being, stupid in the ring,
Yes.
and and that hurts. I mean, I never cared for Goldberg anyways, but it very could have easily ended a lot worse than it did.
Right. When situations like that happen in the ring, you shouldn't be in the ring anymore. Plain and simple.
No, you should take accountability and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm too old for this shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
As much grief as we give Ric Flair, he's never put anybody in that situation that Goldberg put Undertaker in.
That we know of.
In ring.
Right.
I'll say in ring because I'm sure he's probably drank too many with people and but anyway. I mean, the only thing we have to worry about is Ric Flair dying himself.
Oh, man still wants to wrestle.
Nah,
I'm
Rick is good. Rick's immortal. You can't about it.
I think over the last few years, I mean, if we're being real about this, I think Rick's last few years, like the last, I don't know, I think it's 6 years after Reed died, he's just been trying to compensate and ignore his grieving, and wrestling is the only thing he's known.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, he's just trying to gravitate to something him and his son bonded over and feels where he's close to him, maybe. I don't know. So on a real human level, I think that's what has driven him to keep trying to go.
Right.
It's actually a fair assessment.
Were you getting ready to say to me? You were going to say something. Oh, we're not. Anyways.
No, I just said that was a fair assessment. I didn't have anything else to say.
No, I was talking to Jamie. Jamie was going to say something. Anyways, moving.
Jamie?
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh,
Because
okay, never mind.
anything
I
I
thought
would
you
have
were
to say about Flair would probably be disparaging and probably not Twitch friendly. So
fair enough.
Fair enough.
Last piece of last topic, I guess, for tonight would be pretty much. Now, I really don't care. I still don't care about this, but what would be everybody's thoughts on the draft coming up for WWE?
If it's done properly, I'm excited for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel the same sentiment there. If it's done properly and it's a true brand split again, they keep them away from each other's rosters. Maybe, and this is a stretch maybe, but maybe have 1 month Raw, 1 month SmackDown pay-per-views other than the big four. Stuff like that. If they do it properly again, I can get behind the product.
Right.
I agree with Shadow on that fact. Just if they keep true to the actual brand split
Right.
and finally have some just different storylines and just have really 2 different TV shows. That's the thing that's been lacking, is because you're watching the same thing every single week, 2 times a week. If they were just doing something different on each night every week and get back to some sort of formula within their TV show, then absolutely it'd be great to watch.
I think by the end of next Monday night, we'll be in the actual Triple H era.
I believe so too.
And
Because now with his roster, his vision.
there have been rumors that there is talk about doing something different for the third hour of Raw.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
ritzier content.
More edgier is
Yep.
what the Nick Khan, I think, was saying that they were looking into.
We're bringing back Raw Underground.
Hey, I enjoy
I
that.
can't wait to see. Speaking of Raw Underground, again, April 21st, 2023, Shadow is calling out CM Punk to a fight because he's a bitch.
Wow. Wow.
No, Raw Underground
he
was
still won't
actually
put me
pretty
over,
decent.
so-
I actually enjoyed
April 21st, 2023. I wish Shadow well in the afterlife.
Listen, he's still not gonna put me over, so it's fine.
Has he put anybody
It ain't
over?
gonna work for me, brother. No, he'll Hogan your ass. It's all right.
I mean, the only thing that I think CM Punk puts over is a condom. But anyways,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
And Larry goes over every time.
Fuck Larry.
Wow. Not Larry, bro. What did Larry ever do to you?
Listen, I actually want to fight CM Punk. Same with Mike Tyson. Let's go, set it up, somebody.
Sato, we fight right now. Wait,
You
what's
sound
that?
like the retarded Jimmy.
I was about to say, damn it.
Shit, my bad word. I apologize to anybody listening. That was inappropriate. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. So fuck it. Anyways, before I keep going off topic, Cam, what was your thoughts on the draft?
Pretty much the same as everybody else. Is like, as long as they honor the draft and we have a proper, two proper brands where we don't keep seeing people jump in shows and things like that, like we see now. I think it'll be good. I also don't want to see Raw completely clean out SmackDown like they have in the past and just leave SmackDown with nothing. So let's just
Hope be the other way around.
You think SmackDown's going to clean out Raw?
Yeah, I think so.
That would be different to see. But they hog all the big names for Raw because it's their quote unquote flagship show. They do it all the time. So.
And it's the 3-hour show.
Right. And I'm hoping not to see that. So.
Yeah, but we have 45 minutes of Cody crying about his dad. So is it really a 3-hour show? I'm just saying.
Before we go for the night, what is everybody's thoughts of the WWE TV deals where Warner Brothers Discovery might be interested in getting a piece of the pie from WWE?
Ooh.
So give me Animaniacs WWE style. I'm here for it.
No, they want to purchase Monday Night Raw and move it off of Monday.
Well, what the fuck is the Okay.
I
That's just that is that. Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't that just complicate things with Endeavor though?
It does.
Yeah.
But what does that say for AEW if Warner's wants to purchase WWE television rights?
Well, that could go one of two ways. One, it's either really, really good for us, or two, AEW is setting up to gear up with a whole bunch of talent that's going to take on that roster pretty well.
Could explain why he's getting all these big names.
So
Interesting.
it definitely is interesting.
That's my thesis on it. Okay, since we're all bringing up topics, I don't know if we covered this or not. I think we did, but it might have. Now that we've had a little bit of time to digress it a little bit more, or excuse me, not digress it, digest it. What's everybody's thoughts on Jeff Hardy coming back? And I think they have a match this week.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Okay. So I definitely like to start this. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a big time Jeff fan. Always have been. Love the Hardy Boys, all that stuff. Right. It's great.
All right.
But him with he has struggled with getting in trouble and his demons over the past several years now, right? It's just it's an unfortunate twist of fate. See what I did there? With his work ethic, jumping off ladders, jumping off balconies and things like that. It's going to take a toll on his body. So it's
Naturally, yeah.
It's to be expected. But it's unfortunate because it's ruined his reputation because now it's like we can't trust him when he's like, oh, hey, I'm back. I'm clean and I'm going to get my act together. And then like 6 months later, he's back in trouble. He's back in jail. Now, this time he's like lost his license for 10 years. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So I really hope that he understands the hole that he's dug himself in this time because now he's messing with his connection with the fans. Because I don't know how much longer they're going to put up with him, coming back and saying, "Hey, I'm the good guy again," and then turning around and then turning out to, screw things up again. He's not only screwing.
You know what? Go ahead.
He's not only screwing things up for himself, but he's screwing things up for this last final run that he deserves with him and his brother. So I don't know. It's.
I truly hate to be the piece of shit here on this because again, I'm a Hardy Boys fan as well. But what Jeff is doing, and this is no disrespect to any of the three men here, but what Jeff is doing is very much what Scott Hall and Jake Roberts have done.
Yeah.
And it took Scott a lot to get back in good graces of fans. Jake Roberts, I think, is still making up for that. Jake also has a lot to answer to his family for. I'm not quite sure on that whole dynamic with Scott and his family, but with Jake, there's a lot that he has to make up with his family.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at those two men and the career trajectories they had and the demons they succumbed to, and then I look at Jeff, and it's eerily similar. In the time they did it, it wasn't heavily scrutinized the way it is now.
Right.
And I think, and you think about it, the time that they did all this, they were scrutinized and heavily. But now with everybody, including ourselves, having an opinion and the world at our fingertips, if you will, Jeff is in a really, really terrible spot because it's now put up or shut up. Because when he dipped from WWE and he fought tooth and nail that he was clean and sober, and not even 6 months later, AEW put him into rehab.
Right.
That tells me WWE made the right decision, just letting us say, "Fuck it, go wherever you want. We're done trying." The old, we're all old enough to remember, the boy who cried wolf, and that's kind of what Jeff Hardy has done. And fans are tired of getting excited and happy to see him back. Oh yeah, you're good, and then
being let down.
Yeah. Another way to put it is Jeff Hardy and wrestling fans is a very abusive relationship at this point. We keep believing he's going to change, but he never does.
For sure.
And I truly hope, for his daughter's sake, his wife's sake, fuck, even his own sake, that he wakes the fuck up and realizes that it's time to put the kid shit away.
Well, hey, well said. Well said.
Yeah, I think you've covered everything there is to cover on that topic, Shadow.
Bingo.
Listen, I'm an opinionated asshole with certain subjects can actually sound intelligent on.
Well,
Man,
anything else we want to chat about before we wrap it up tonight?
I think that's it.
All right, so
Great.
for the special guest that popped in throughout the show, Jamie, where can we find you?
Alrighty, Jamie Rose X on pretty much all the platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Clapper, even though whatever.
Clap your
hell
cheek.
kind of
What?
Yes, clapping please. Anyways, and the freaking TikTok. You could also find me Monday nights right here on this very channel for paying dues, and throughout the week, whenever I find a random time to get away from the wife for VCW.
Yes.
And
VCW.
just want to say thank you. Thank you.
You fought your kind.
Oh, fucked.
Shadow?
You can find me if you find me. Find me on TikTok at Shadow Club.
91.
Yeah, Shadow Club 91. Thank you. You can also find me, if you just want to see my video content, where I can just post videos, it's ThatGuyShadow.91. You can follow me on Twitter at ThatGuyShadow91. And if you find me on any other social medias and you try to add me, I'm gonna fucking rip you a new one, and on the podcast and everywhere else. Don't do it.
Bingo.
Cam?
You can find me right here on Off the Top every Friday with my boy Scalz for This Week in Pro Wrestling. You can find me on TikTok at Cam's Wrestling Corner and call me Cam G. And if that does not sizzle your bacon, you can find me on Instagram at 317 Bacon Eggs and Cam.
I am Scalz.
Alzone.
You can follow me on TikTok and Twitter at Scalz24. Also on Off the Top Media _ on TikTok and Twitter. And then we're on YouTube and Twitch at Off the Top Media. We also want to give a shout out to one of our partners, Broken Wrestling Podcast. They do multiple different shows, including about mental health, a women's only podcast, men's only. So go check them out. They're on YouTube, Broken Wrestling Podcast.
And you never know when we're gonna pop up on those episodes.
Yeah, some of them might be
Absolutely.
on here. We'll be on there. It's a good partnership. It's to benefit everybody else. Don't forget about the link that I dropped in the chat earlier tonight. If you're ever looking to buy WWE merchandise, click on that. Help us out. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a great evening. Catch you next week.
And if you're really kind, you can catch Scalz's OnlyFans.
And he's the VCW Hardcore Champ.
I did not.